So this is the Knhoeing presentation. It's about 5 pages. I'm going to read it all with a few pictures. And the necessary prerequisite to understanding this is the American Mirror: mental disease, astronomy, chemistry, sustainability, and eugenics. Knhoeing explores what I call chemical astronomy, where you have to understand the anatomy of celestial beings, where you therefore have to understand their chemistry. So knowing has to do with understanding your position in the universe and express and address human purpose through a eugenics goal. As a species, we deal with 3 dimensions naturally: up, down, left, right, forward, back. What we need to do is breed in a way where we naturally are able to comprehend higher dimensions such as time. In order to survive and thrive as a species, we must support ourselves through healthy sustainability. Knowing encapsulates all of that. Planetary consciousness. The first step to better understand your place in the universe is understanding that the sheer chemistry of the atmosphere, planets, and suns, etc., is what makes the celestial beings conscious. They have all the essential building blocks of life, specifically sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and carbon. Think about it this way. Think about the Earth the same way you think about a computer. Computers are just binary magnetism and electricity. It's all zeros and ones. The Earth has a molten core that creates a magnetic field around the Earth called geomagnetic field, and it's so strong. That molten core is really a conscious dynamo, a conscious magnetic computer. To put this in a historical context, the ancient Roman gods were named after the planets, which were evolved from the Greek gods. In this way, planets are conscious, higher dimensional beings. In the original Knhoeing journal, I talk about what God is and how and why they talk to you in the Soul Within journal. To understand how hard Gaia's job is, watch the Godfellas episode from Futurama. If the planets are smart, the sun and the stars are even smarter. Ra is the ancient Egyptian god of the sun. There's 2 related journals, the Knhoeing Journal and the Soul Within Journal. Atmospheric consciousness, the Biosphere. So there's celestial consciousness, celestial being consciousness, planetary consciousness, and atmospheric consciousness. The biosphere of the Earth is a thin layer on the planet, as Carl Sagan would say, a thin film of life that is like the skin of an apple. It's really not that big on a scale of celestial beings and atmospheric consciousness, considering that 3 Earths fit into Jupiter's red dot alone. For example, if you look at the linked 2017 hurricane season or the Earth breathing video, where there's a time lapse of the weather, it looks like the atmosphere is breathing. It seems merely having weather is what makes the atmosphere alive. I call our atmosphere blue. Blue protects us in so many ways, like from UV rays. As discussed, the atmosphere has all the necessary elements of life, where water is the fuel and being, and electricity is the delivery system. Besides the chemical makeup, there is also electricity in the biosphere. Similarly, as the brain is an array of electrical impulses that spread out like branches in the brain with thought, so does the atmosphere do this electric transfer in storms. As discussed in the Blue Journal, Nikola Tesla harnessed this energy, and so did the ancient Egyptians through the pyramids. As also discussed in the Blue Treatise, blue can communicate in a very real way by building an intricate storyline through the media. This is easier to understand by understanding ETM, which is the necessary prerequisite to understanding blue's visual communication mechanism. And there's 2 related works, and that is the Blue Treatise and the Blue Journal. Sustainability. You have to realize that a focus on sustainability is designed to bring the individual in harmony with the planet. You have to understand your position living on a conscious entity in a conscious atmosphere that both interact. You just traditionally looked upon it as God and how to cohabitate properly. Due to a failed materials economy and a reflection to desire consumerism, the biosphere, blue, is dying. As I talk about extensively in the journal, we have to change the materials economy, agriculture, transportation, and charge a carbon tax to even start to correct for the environmental footprint we leave and have left as humans. When money is how you live and you're trapped in a framework where you have to contribute to the detriment of the biosphere, that is what I call the psycho-consumption cage from the American Mirror mental disease. Due to ignorance and social conformity, the American Mirror mental disease prevents us from seeing this and distracts us from creating a better purpose. Hip-hop artists should be seen as sick for promoting a lifestyle that is good for the individual but bad for the planet. NASA should be looked on as sick for wanting to leave the atmosphere we all evolved into. There's 4 related works: The American Mirror Mental Disease, which is the necessary prerequisite, the Psycho-Consumption Cage Journal, the Sustainable Miracle Diet Journal, and Money and Food Socialization Journal. Eugenics, the final highlight. In order to put your mind to use in a higher dimension and in order to function better, the populace needs to have necessities taken care of. This is why Gaia, Blue, and I are always talking about a sustainable free food system to set the appropriate sustainable economic and logistic model for business to follow. The American Mirror mental disease prevents us from creating a better future. Most people are too preoccupied with the psycho-consumption cage or some form of Rosalia Villa. In order to better ourselves the world over, there must be an emphasis on women's education and empowerment and a stand against violence towards women. These are some of the social systems and public policy decisions that need to be made for the benefit of the public on behalf of the taxpayers. How many dimensions are there? We only deal with 3 though. There's a lot of dimensions, but we only deal with 3. We've gotten up to 5 that we can comprehend. We have to breed to develop senses that naturally allow us to perceive higher dimensions better and therefore increase our intelligence exponentially. In this way, what knowing does is expand and give a eugenics goal for understanding cosmic proprioception. Cosmic proprioception. I just learned that word the other day. It gives aptitude and velocity to understanding what should be our purpose. So, 2 related journals are Jack Regulate SHBFCC and Rosalia Villa Eugenics, which are both about Rosalia Villa. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my family. You're awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you very much, and until next time, you take care, alright? Bye.